You brought up something interesting. You said that there were times in your healing journey that it felt good for you to look at God or refer to God as like a mother figure. And I think that so many people like that, it could be so liberating for so many of us. I was in the middle of like in between having my kids. So, Michael and Arden are about 3.5 years apart. And so I had Mikey, but I had miscarried 2 times. And then I said, okay, I'm going to take a break and just get my body back in, on track or whatever. And then we'll try, again. And so in between, I read this book, and I for the life of me cannot remember what it's called, but it was definitely not something I would recommend for somebody who is deconstructing, because it is very religious in nature, okay. Right? I'm only using it as a reference now because that was the very first time that I had read something that was helping me heal from like the pain of the miscarriages emotionally, that actually referred to God. One of the names for God is El Shaddai, which means the many-breasted one. And listen, I haven't fact checked it, right? Like, so I'm not going to sit here but for me in that time, I was like, oh my God. The author was using this as like a way to say that there is this divine femininity or this characteristic of God that is also feminine, and that it's okay to see it as such. And I was like, the rest of the book, yeah. Okay. But that part really stood out to me. And I never really looked at God like just as solely patriarchal or masculine after that. And so when you say that about, that being very intricate in your healing journey some days, because healing is not linear at all. Like, there are ebbs and flows, but I also like to say that it's circular, because sometimes like, you're here, right? And then you go around the mulberry bush we go, and you come right back to the same place that you used to be at. But the difference is that you don't necessarily look at the same trauma with the same perspective.
Right. And that's healing, to be able to look at that same thing and almost have different feelings towards it, or see it from a different vantage point. Yeah. I think that's true healing.